Tenga boots, ndio ndakuone. Nibo mratiza chitimbu mpya. Hapana za mnandika. Hapana kana hapana. Hapana za mnandika. Hapana za mnandika. Mnandika. Hapana za mnandika. Mnandika. Hapana za mnandika. Hapana kana hapana. Hapana. Hapana kana hapana. Hapana.
Greetings, good people. What's up? What's happening? My name is Dr. Clarence and welcome back to TV7 Live, where we get to give you all the hottest and top trending topics, broadcasting live and direct from Zimbabwe, Africa. So what happened? Something happened. A lot of things have been happening. It has been a busy week. It has been a hectic week in Zimbabwe. This week actually has left some people weak in their knees. We saw attacks at the Vice President Emerson Mnangagwa's son's house. Then yesterday, the house was on fire, like literal fire, burning. The whole place was blazing. What is happening? Remember, the year 2018, I take you back to White City Stadium. The bomb that exploded there at White City Stadium. Remember those guys? Those security guys are supposed to be having some gadgets which detect explosive materials, because these explosive materials actually produce a certain frequency that can be detected from a distance. And again, they have those bomb jammers, and no remote control operated bomb can explode in the vicinity of the president. Now we are seeing intruders at President Emerson Mnangagwa's son's house. Right. So we covered that one in another video. Now we are seeing this one here. What is it saying here? Starlink saga. CHIVHAYO clashes with Emerson Mnangagwa's son. We're talking about Sean Mnangagwa and Collins Mnangagwa. What is happening here? Wakumana want to pinda matenda. They actually entered the tender. Yes, remember these ED boys, these Mnangagwa guys. Remember the COVID-19 drugs scandal. The drugs scandal. So these guys were denying we are not aligned. We don't know drugs scandal. Now we have seen the recent court scandal. I'm not talking of Mbudzi interchange, no. Mbudzi interchange is still there. I'm talking of the Mike Chimombe scandal, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission scandal. Now the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission scandal has exposed a lot of names. Now who may be after President Emerson Mnangagwa's sons. And now we are about to reveal some details behind the Starlink saga. Remember, as of now, right about now, Sir Wicknell Chivayo is in the United States of America. And what did he say there in the US? He released a short video, less than 6 seconds. But there's a big message in there, if it is the message.
Pacha. Fe. Mame. 2 minutes. Tokuziwa imi. Utosia mari zenyu kuno imi. Pacha. Pinde sekuseka paya. Fe. America tato amwesi. 2 minutes tatonza apinda imi. Mwiti zvamuri kuita tokuziwa imi. Utosia mari zenyu kuno imi. Pacha. Pinde sekuseka paya. Apana zvamuna. Fe. America tato.
All right, here, he's lacking 100% concentration. He's concentrating on something else. He's very busy. It's highly likely that he's accompanied by somebody else who doesn't usually accompany him. He's accompanied by somebody else who he doesn't usually move with. But that person is a younger person to share with Wicknell Chivayo, so he has to keep attention. This is my own assumption. Now he begins his video saying facha sekutamba sekuseka datopinda mu America. He begins with the facha. Then take note how he enters the fair.
Facha pinde sekuseka paya fair
Facha pinde sekuseka paya. After that line he runs out of words, then he goes fair.
Facha pinde sekuseka paya fair mu America tato amwes 2 minutes tatonza apinda
2 minutes tatonza apinda. Remember, IMC Wicknell Chivayo and the Starlink saga. It is reported that Wicknell Chivayo has not yet engaged with Elon Musk or engaged with the Starlink offices concerning the deal. So recently he was actually communicating with Matevera, obviously through somebody who, not him Wicknell directly, but a guy called Frederick Graffin, who introduced himself as the IMC Communications advisor, was contacting or communicating with the minister Matevera there, said establishing contacts with Starlink was proving to be a nightmare. So he was asking for the contacts from the minister there. Now, the recent approval by President Emmerson Mnangagwa came on 25 May 2024, licensing Starlink through the Portras Telecommunications Authority Portras as the exclusive local partner. Right? So, when I was checking the Starlink website, it did not show that light blue color where they show a country that is about to receive internet services. It is very possible that what has happened so far in Zimbabwe so far is just a talk. But remember, these government guys had said no to this Starlink thing. What changed? Okay. Before that, in the deal, controversial businessman Wicknell Chivayo allegedly elbowed out 3 companies, including one owned by associates of President Emmerson Mnangagwa's sons, to land the deal that will seal the partnership with Starlink in Zimbabwe. Now, President Emmerson Mnangagwa had made a surprise announcement that IMC Communications, which is linked to Chivayo, had been given the nod to partner Starlink. Take note, the nod to partner, the go-ahead to partner Starlink, a United States-based satellite provider owned by billionaire Elon Musk SpaceX, which provides fast and low-cost internet services. Sources say that the circumstances leading to the announcement are some of the reasons Chivayo had fallen out with the first lady Auxilia Mnangagwa after one of the companies owned by associates of her sons Collins and Sean were sidelined. I think some of us have seen an image where we see Wicknell Chivayo with ED at the airport, right? So anenga kamira kuseri kwa mai bekutanga benyika But the way you be standing, the body language there is lack of confidence on Wicknell Chivayo in the presence of Auxilia Mnangagwa. So before these revelations, actually, that hadn't crossed my mind. It just seemed like just a normal worry when somebody is at a place that is not their own territory. So this is the image there. We see this one here. Just take a look at that body language here. The hands are down. Maoko akadzika. The shoulders are down. Check the eyes. Check the mouth. This expression is like being nowhere. So now there's allegations that this is when the fallout between Wicknell Chivayo and the mother of the nation, Auxilia Mnangagwa. Right? Of course, we would hear that. Say Wicknell Chivayo is barred from entering the State House. Allegations are that the First Lady said, do not let that guy enter. Do not let that leaked audio chanter enter the State House, because the state of affairs that he was stating in his recordings. Okay. Anyways, enough respect to everybody who is watching us live right now. So we continue. So those are the two possible incidences why there may be a fallout, if there is any. Now, Chivayo allegedly elbowed out 3 companies, including one that is connected to President Emmerson Mnangagwa's sons, either at all of them, or just one of them. Now, if I take you to Botswana, this is what happened here. Starlink gets license to operate in Botswana after meeting President Misuse. Botswana has granted an operating license to Starlink, the satellite internet service owned by SpaceX. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Take note. 21 days. After a government delegation met with SpaceX team in the United States of America. Now remember, Sir Wicknell Chivayo is there stronging it up in the United States of America. The license comes 3 months after the Botswana Communications and Regulatory Authority, BOCRA, rejected Starlink's operating license application, citing missing information. The importation, sale, and use of Starlink was banned shortly after. So, these guys, they had banned Starlink in their own nation. But an individual then talked to the president. Right? I wouldn't want to use the phrase talked some sense into the president, but I would rather use convince, because talked some sense may actually sound insulting. So there was some convincing. Wakumona chidika ngono utaura kana president ayuti ayewa mdara mlikuona zvakadai, so Starlink ichi chakangofanana nezvima Philip House ma decoder ichi ma decoder untoseta dish manje Starlink ka anyway mdara kutongo register pa website yavo, right? So not on what has been revealed in trending news so far. Starlink, the license that matters. Of course, in our nations, we have our laws. We have porters and their laws and their expensive license, which cost $1 million, and the telecommunication equipment, etc., are those backdated, backward laws there to safeguard whatever they say. But partnership with Starlink is for one to become their reseller or their distributor, in that they be giving you their hardware, and also you'll be running an account as an agent, because for one, to do data top-ups, airtime top-ups, they download a phone application from the Starlink official website. You don't buy juice cards for Starlink, no. There is no other link to buy a Starlink data. But only the Starlink website is all the data. So you buy straight from there. So now, when one is become a reseller or a distributor, then they would get commission. They will get royalties from the customers that come through them. The same ways we see even an Econet, Anatel one operate. They're just agents, all those guys that don't want to get into the digital or into the technical stuff on it. Zvakafana funeral police, right? Kana zvama insurance. Ukajoinisa vanhu wakawanda, iwe unenge uchiona kati yako. Ndo zvakafanana ne becoming a reseller or a distributor with Starlink. So the license that would matter is a person being given a Starlink license by Starlink itself. Take note, by Starlink itself. Who would they choose to work with from the side of Starlink? Then, did Elon Musk or Starlink or SpaceX reach the government of Zimbabwe? Because anybody in the United States of America can just call the Zimbabwe government and purport to be Starlink and say, guys, I am calling from Starlink. Yes, we would like to bring internet to your nation. So I'm just telling you that we are bringing it. Then the Zimbabwe guy, oh, no, we have licenses here. You need to get the post-trust due first, etc., etc. But what I'm suggesting here is anybody can just claim to be Starlink, and take note of the energy we put on Nyaya, yechunchi chakafanana ne facilitation ye Starlink. Here we're seeing that in Botswana, it's only 3 weeks. And already the internet is connected in just 3 weeks. But in Zimbabwe, and a Wicknell, now they are leaking things like WikiLeaks. Are they weak? Big up to Ruth Mbewe. Ziri say, Chadi Aniki. Anzi, ndawombera tishikewo pano mufana we Red Jordan akanyeba here or was pardoned nava Ramaphosa. Give me specifics on that one. I didn't get it well. Big up to Ked Sinyangwe say, why didn't you opt for engaging yourself before talking about Rasputin or Vladimir Putin? Okay, yes. So now we're seeing we'll get there here. The Zimbabwe government is sweating. Why? Sweating over the SADC thing. There, the upcoming SADC meeting. So, as they allege, a lot of things they allege are happening here. So we're seeing the Sunday Mail here. Zambia should have opted for re-engagement, but we'll get there. Let's go back to the Starlink issue. Here we're seeing that President Edie's children might have been involved, or their names have just been involved in an article to make it more powerful. But is it or isn't it? Oh, sorry. One of the sons, Mnangagwa's house was attacked 2 times when people were there, and then there was fire at the house. Okay, so we see Wicknell Chivayo is barred from visiting State House. Then, Information, Communication Technology, ICT, Postal and Career Services Minister, Tatenda Matevera, referred questions about circumstances leading to the announcement of the IMC Communications and Starlink partnership to Mnangagwa's office. Here we're seeing that the Botswana one also was dealt with by the Botswana's Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa Botswana ndiye akabva aita dhiri rachona, iye ndiye anga amboisa read padhiri, then akazita lead in the deal, and now we're seeing it come to fruition. Now these guys are linked to the stars, right? So actually, Starlink, if you buy it, if you can smuggle it into Zimbabwe, if you didn't get caught, you can actually use it. It works. Apana kana zvinonida kuiswa masatellite ari mudenga. I mean, some guys are going to hey, but that's what space station, hey, chakadai so station, it's subletting, right? These guys, they run their accounts, they run their client accounts, they run their agent accounts centrally there at SpaceX. So, akomana chasiyana ne DSTV. In fact, DSTV rachona munhu ari kutotengera, ari kutokusubscribera DSTV, ari ngokusubscribera DSTV maybe because pamwe ari kwanisa kuita ma-online transactions, pamwe ari kwanisa kuita funds transfer. That is why ari kwanisa ngokuitira. So they become ma-agents, akafana ma-agents epa-airport, ekuti unosvika pa-airport wotosvika vanhu vaine ma-office pa-airport, wotosvika kuti da kutenga ticket uri pa-airport, but uchitenga ticket pa-airport, munhu ari kutengesera ticket pa-airport anoenda pabooking.com, www.booking.com, ubva kutengera ticket pawebsite zvawanga uchikwanisa kungoita wega uri woga palaptop pako kana pafoni pako kumba. So utoti nda-agent, votoprinta zvimabhanabhana zvakanyawanzikana kuti Malawi Airlines, kana kuti zvakanzi Flight Emirates, kana kuti Flight at Emirates. Yeah, flight agent, my registered agents. So those are the things that we get there. So as much as Wicknell is said to be a criminal, I think he has a lot of qualities of de la crime. That guy is a mastermind. Funga kuti anosvika mumaofisi mevanhu, vanosenza mumaofisi mevanhu, obva aita bhosi wavo, obva atanga kuvaudza kuti taiswap, ndipe mari, right? Obva achaja maprize. Mamwe maprize atikaona pamarisita aya, vanhu tinogona kufunga kuti these guys were in it together. Togona kufunga kuti all dogs were in it. But actually, maybe Chivayo was the only guard in it. Ndiani achizoti ndotengesa chinhu changu nemari andinoda, because I'm the one who is selling this a profit andinoda andirambidzwe, right? Amene kuti mutemo weCompetition Act papa unoti chima trade practices, then amene kuti unoapply here kuma procurement ezvinhu zvehurumende, right? So unoona chargwa saver ye $4,000, 1 million. Achaja chinhu chaari kutengesa chaanotenga kunze tomuti imbavha here kana kuti atenga ndotsaga. So that is the side of the genius of Wicknell Chivayo. I can mention then even the way he dealt with paakavhara mari yezesa yeZimbabwe power company, paakaivhara apedza kuivhara ubva avasuwa futi, right? So he did things like that. Hence why I do not like commenting a lot on some happenings dzimwe nyaya dzinenge dzichiitika muZimbabwe munomu, because a lot of people actually get the wrong gist of things. Zvakafanana necase yaMike Chimombe naMoses Mpofu. These guys, what charges are they facing? These guys are facing misrepresentation charges. They are facing fraud charges. They are facing forgery charges. Nothing else. All the mentioning of the goats, it is just linking evidence to prove that there was an instance that required this guy, or that made these guys to commit the alleged crime. Because I think that one waka forger pasina documents embudzi dzakatengeswa. So basa rema documents embudzi, or the mentioning of the goats in this case, is to link and sync with the fraud allegations. So even if we look at a form from the Zimbabwe National Prosecuting Authority, NPA, here, what do they say? Mike Chimombe Moses Mpofu in court for fraud. Now, fraud, forgery is misrepresentation. It falls under fraud. Of course, fraud is a word that sounds so sophisticated. It sounds like the word shrewd. Embalming. Take note of the word embalming. Embalming is but embalming. So they embalmed the body. The body was embalmed and cremated. Embalmed and cremated. No. So that is the perception that comes to mind. So Harare businessman Moses for 49 appeared before the magistrate court facing fraud charges. Allegations are that the accused persons forged a Zimra tax clearance certificate and a NASA compliance certificate in the name of Black Deck Private Limited. Let me repeat again. Allegations are that the accused persons forged a Zimra tax clearance certificate and a NASA compliance certificate in the name of Black Deck Private Limited. Yeah, they were shuffling these offices like a deck of cards. These guys were not joking, but rather they skipped some processes, like actually getting the proper tax clearance. I'm not soliciting for corruption. Anyways, so they misrepresented that company was in full compliance with Zimra and NASA requirements. Investigations indicated that the QR code and the reference on the NASA compliance certificate were issued to a different company. It's like the different company, it may be implicated. It is not revealed here. That company, inofanonge iri pa aiding. It has liability in this same crime because it aided, but it is not revealed the name of that company. Even though the owners of that company may have not been in company of these guys when they were in a symphony at the Zimra offices. Acting on the misrepresentation, take note, acting on the misrepresentation, everything that happened, the Ministry of Lands contracted Black Deck Private Limited on the 3rd of November 2021. The ministry transferred a lot of money, going to billions, 1.6 billion, right? etc. Acting on the misrepresentation. Now, when you say acting on the misrepresentation, this information has to come when the party that would have been defrauded is filing for damages or is suing for damages, right? So they are mentioning it here. It's necessary that it is just linking evidence. And anyways, the magistrate may just choose to take things straight up or whatever way. But in a case of fraud, do we see restitution? There is no restitution in a case of fraud. However, in some other instances, there may be restitution because remember, contract law and company law company contract, industrial contract is different from general consumer contract. The ministry transferred that money, right? And the goats were supposed to be delivered. But the goats were not delivered. Only the money got gotten. But the goats never got to where they were supposed to get. Okay. So, in 2023, we see a post by Nick Mangwana. I think that this Butambuzi is not 600,000 and they run, hey, by social media. So everything and things you post on Nick Mangwana. Now we are seeing now Charles Charamba, Nesura Kabuda Charamba, article in news days. Article in the Ramba, Saka, Rivisei. So, Charles Charamba Arutanga to mark a newspaper, ne pillow, ne pen, ne paper. That George Char, I'm sorry, George of the Charamba, right? Of the concrete jungle, right? Aruto mark a newspaper. So now, if we get to the Herald, he was heralding the entire front page there. Chadi Aniki Ziri say Anzi alright, I understand it they exist. Your comment to type I'm not gonna read it live, but I'm just gonna read this one. You're not Wakangwara even disclaimer plausible deniability. Deniability. No. It's my general character. I'm not a reckless person. I don't make reckless utterances. That is just the way that I am. Why would I be making reckless utterances? Because I do not work for the devil. I'm a child of God. So, generally, I'm a scientist. I'm a person who seeks the truth. That is why I'm a Christian. I'm a person who loves the truth. So I do not make reckless utterances because some of the things we may be seeing, these are just allegations. Here we are seeing that everybody is all over the place. The issue Gotsi. These guys are there for misrepresentation. And this forgery, they will not get a level exceeding level 14 fine, of which level 14 is the last number of fine. Level 14, the maximum fine is 5,000 US dollars. They'll get level 12, which is 2,000 US dollars. And remember, this case is not at the High Court. It's a rotten row up. A magistrate court. Magistrate court only deals with certain amounts. They don't deal with recovering certain amounts. So as much as a lot of Zimbabweans may be angry, these guys are masterminds in their endeavors. If they do really calculate on the part of this Chimombe guy, I have some doubts. But on say Wicknell Chivayo, knowing what he'll be doing, whether it's criminal or not, how he's going to get out of it and actually never think, he doesn't calculate because he has it already figured it out. You say, Chadi Aniki andapedza kudhara big up to Joseph Sigaoki andina zvandataura. But the type of comment and the language there, right? So it may lead to different thoughts. Remember, the way we are made at Woodsway, zvekufunga, but patinonzwa ma certain words, pane mafungira atinoita, like tikanzwa kuti Mike Chimombe, Now Moses Mpofu vasungwa varimandwa in custody for few days pakutswa bail hearings. Zvinongoreva kuti kakesi kanyanya light. Bail vanogona kunyimwa before the judgment. It is a court proceedings zvichidependa nekuti vatadza kuzvimiririra sei pabail. So now when we get to the mail of the Sunday, we see George Charamba. George Charamba anga acharamba kuti kudi. 1. Reference to the Zambia issue. Yeah? So they might be actually sweating. Oh, this guy is just bear with me there. My network had just dropped. But now I'm back again. The connection has just hopped back. Enough respect to everybody who is watching us live right about now. So now we were touching the Herald. Sorry, the Herald. Not Herald. I'm now thinking of the King Herod. No. Dear Lord. I mean, the Herald. Now, Herald, the word Herald means to herald, to parade. Right? So here we're seeing on the first page of the paper on the Sunday, we're seeing Ndara George Charamba akaribata first page rese kuti G. Right? So, and actually the banner page there for the Herald, we see none other than who? We see George Charamba akaribata kuti mba. Let me just put it on the screen there. Okay. To those watching us live, make sure you click the like button and subscribe if you have not yet already done so. So it is not a demand, but it is just a call to action. Nai zenyim mununga budoshti ndokumbira ma likes. Anyways, so here we're seeing the Sunday Mail. Zambia should have opted for engagement. President remarks were clear. Now, instead of making a post on Twitter, here George Charamba makes a post where? On the Sunday Mail. Okay, let's not say he made a poster, but this one was actually made on the roster of the news editor called Lincoln, who interviewed George Charamba. So it might actually be this guy who did approach this other guy called Charamba. Earlier on again in the Herald, we're seeing this one here. Liberation parties must resist Western machinations. Already we are seeing in SA, the Democratic Alliance entering into an alliance with the African National Congress. But when we thought that the GNU was about to make progress, we are seeing the Democratic Alliance showing some type of defiance or resistance. They want more ministries, or they're going to send ANC to the cemeteries, right? So, Botswana already, we see Hakainde Hichilema, right? Him removed a liberation movement there in Botswana. So now, here, where they say that Zambia should have engaged Zimbabwe first, Zambia is escalated the case to the SADC and also to the Africa Union. All right. Now this is how it goes here. On the Herald, I'm just gonna cover a little bit of it. Zimbabwe should have opted for engagement. President Mnangagwa's remarks were clear. The recent decision by the Zambian government to avoid using bilateral diplomatic channels and approach the SADC Secretariat seeking mediation over recent misunderstanding with Zimbabwe is increasingly complicating engagements between the two countries, it has been learned. The Sun Mail has gathered that Zambia recently lodged a formal complaint against Zimbabwe with SADC Executive Secretary Mr. Elias Magosi and sought regional intervention in a matter that was already under active discussion between the two neighboring countries. The complaint followed remarks made by President Emerson Mnangagwa during a recent trip to Russia, where he highlighted the US government made some activities in Lusaka and its effort to isolate Zimbabwe. The remarks were, however, misinterpreted by the authorities in Lusaka. The Zambian Foreign Ministry recently summoned Zimbabwe's envoy, Ambassador Charity Charamba, and raised their misgivings. Harare responded to their Zambian counterpart, thereby initiating bilateral efforts for an amicable resolution. Okay, now, here we're seeing here, they're covering the exact utterances that were made by the president. Of course, the president said these guys are isolating us. They are working with Zambia over there. He didn't mention military base over there. But the thing about politicking and political rhetoric, you don't say what you want to say, but you say what you say, such that people can assume what you want them to assume. That is, if you are a good calculator, and you don't become a president when you're not a good calculator, right? So you don't say some things so that you don't get caught directly, right? So now when you can't be caught directly, what needs to be done? People have to make a lot of noise on those things, be it on social media or any other form of media, right? People have to be creating stories, linking, etc. When there's a slow news cycle, people have to engage in creative journalism, right? Then we see the Zimbabwe tension. Then we see members from each political parties, from each government, responding to each other. We are talking of people who run nations here, right? We are talking of people who run nations here. So, as the Zimbabwe government is alleging, is that now the tiff that is existing is not between Zimbabwe and Zambia. Zimbabwe and Zambia, they don't have a problem. But the problem is between Zimbabwe and the United States of America. And here they say they're attempting to play one African country against another at their own order. In their own words, they want to pursue foreign goals through a situation of misunderstanding and even conflict between the two neighboring states. The fact, what they've done in respect to Eastern Europe, where American goals are being enacted through a conflict situation between Russia and Ukraine, right? So by approaching SADC and SADC, it all rhymes. Anyways, SADC, election observer mission, etc. SADC. It means that is a tiff between Zimbabwe and America, now being reframed as a bilateral problem between Zimbabwe and Zambia, leaving the Americans, who are evil, part of the tiff, are gleefully happy, and who are evil. We're calling evil people evil, is it hate speech? That is wicked. Okay, so the Zambians have played into the hands of the Americans, as Charamba here is saying. So just that statement where Charamba mentions that the Zambians have played into the hands of the Americans, just by mentioning that statement, whether it's true or false, one can actually feel offended just by that statement. Just a statement like, no, you didn't get me right, what I'm saying. Or you didn't get person A, B, C, D right. Some people may actually be offended when being corrected in things, either things that matter or things that don't matter, because things that don't matter wouldn't necessarily offend somebody unless somebody is a person who easily gets offended by things that do not concern them. Like when George Charamba talks some sense, some person may actually get angry because George Charamba is talking some sense. I'm not saying he's talking some sense. What I'm just noticing at his level, parading on the front page of the state paper, right? Or is he? Maybe it's the journalist who just decided to, Father bossy. Kuitira kana wazoenda ndikatiri kuoffice unogona kuzongopuwawo tender utengawo bhutsu dzakawanda kunge dzaWicknell Chivayo woregedza kufamba nematenda futi one extra cash yekuspenda kusvikira waita kana bhodhi inenge yaJacob mudhenda. Yeah, right. Enough respect to Jakiwa, says Chivayo. Mwana wa mdara hapana ana chimombe are sacrificial lambs, but still vanobuda. All right. So still on that there, yakunzi mwana wa Chivayo. That is a very true there. So we saw another video, President ED aina maititi vachitaura so padhuza mento vanenge vachiti, right? So again, that image made a hit because maybe inyaya kuti patebhuru pa ED papa ine bhodhoro rewhiskey. So it was a freaky situation there. So we saw that one making rounds na maititi na chichi na Passion Java etc, right? Passion Java, the man of cloth. Here on the same year, we seeing George Charamba in another publication. Here he's saying high noon for abusers of the first family name and proximity. Remember, the first family is under sanctions, and we're seeing Wicknell Chivayo heyo uyo avayao kwa America uvati fe ndapinda mu America, right? He does that with a certain tonality, with a certain lingua that he uses, right? Anga kanga not fair because anga sirukwanza to concentrate. He's busy on something. It's highly likely to munu wainaye ipapo they were doing something, so anga impromptu or prompt to shoot the video, right? Ndapinda pacha uzungukwanisa waka fair language.
Miti zvamuri pacha pindei sekuseka paya fe muAmerica tatova isi 2 minutes tatonzi apindai miti zvamuri kuita toxiimi
what 2 minutes tatonzi apindai muite zvamuri kuita toxiimi, right? So wakomana kwa Mnangagwa kuti wapinde mustates vandopinda under diplomatic ndokwa unogona kushaya zvingavanetsi kana paine mission, right? Ameno in the case of Collins Nation, but already they are linked to other companies with documents that have been published by the US government. We saw the US government reduce some sanction in Zimbabwe, but list, including the family that we call the first day on the list. Now here we see George Charamba again on the first page of where the Zim papers.
Pacha pindei sekuseka paya.
On the first page here Herald.
Pacha pindei sekuseka paya. Fe muAmerica tato.
So here he is talking about or mentioning criminals around President Emerson Mnangagwa's sons, and he is saying akomana high noon for abusers of proximity to the first family. Now what George Charamba may be doing here, nyaya anogonanga achitanga ari kuramba inogonanga isiriyo, because when we talk of proximity to the presidents, unotanga kufunga tisina kufunga hatitofunge ndi hevo se Wicknell Chivayo vatikaona vaina president, even aina mamwe president, tikatoona even aina William Ruto. Imagine William Ruto. Then we see him going to see that Yoweri Museveni. So those are not small presidents in Africa, the presidents like William Ruto or Yoweri Museveni, right? There's some of the names. So here we're seeing individuals are exploiting their proximity to the first family to commit crimes, and those falsely invoking names of members of the family will face several legal consequences, as their actions will not be tolerated. In an interview with Sunday Mail yesterday, Deputy Chief Secretary in the Office of the President and Cabinet Presidential Communications, Mr. Charamba, said, in response to this worrying trend, the authorities were considering to enforce a stricter protocol for gaining audience with the first. How do they do that? Okay, it's just mentioning. What is he saying here? Okay. How do you do that? So, it is what it is. Right? This is communicating to say Wicknell Chivayo. Right? Say Wicknell Chivayo, nangangosvika 2 minutes atora madhiri. Zvinongobhuwawo kune vanhu vagara varimo muchiround vamwe vachingouya vachiita maround emari. Zvinogona kunge zvichibhuwa handisi kuti zvinomubhuwa.
Pacha pindei sekuseka paya.
Asi zvinogona kunge zvichimubhuwa. This is my own analysis here. So I'm just looking at the facts as they are. How do you ensure that people don't get access to the first family? Because when we go down here with the article, let's see how they are doing it and how the first family are being implicated in crimes, right? Either they are involved or they are not involved. Maybe this actually happened and these were their things being put through the border, but now there's denial of fact. For example, they say that a truck at the border that needs money to be declared, they claim to be in South Africa and ask for assistance in paying the clearance fee. Munanenga pa border, right? Over a phone, I think they're associated and aligned na Ellon Mnangagwa. The cross and Bill Mario Crosser, right? They lie that one of my associates will invest their money in Harare after they pay those huge amounts. Sometimes as much as 30,000 or more, which is taken using my name by those name droppers. Thank you very much, Mr. George Charamba, for releasing that information. So let's see who these people who have 30,000 disposable to be just given to Ellon Mnangagwa. I want my people to know this. They do not get swindled of their money. Mr. Mnangagwa said in some cases, individuals have lost as much as 40,000 to the criminals. As a result, people start calling me and asking for their money. And I'm shocked telling them, I know nothing, he said. This is why I want to let anyone out there know that I am not in the business of calling people and asking for money. I do not know why or how they are able to open account South Africa using my name. But, okay, the issue of the name is possible. His name is not his name. His name is his name. But another person can have the same name. Okay, so if that's the case, it's a non-issue, right? The issue is about calling somebody and asking for money. So on this one, it's very easy for Ellon Mnangagwa to deal with this one. He knows his associates, which person, his social support system, which person he can ask for money. It can be a closed circle or WhatsApp group message there. It is very, very simple. Now, these guys, who do they call? All right. Most of the cases involved people who call government officials in my name. They call high offices, usually ambassadors, ministers, and even parastatal executives using my name or that of my brother, Collins. My name has been abused on several occasions. All right. So, Mono, I'm not going to diplomat. Hello, Ripa Boda, Drogba Jut, and that is Ellon Mnangagwa can be married. And the phone one is here. Parastatal executive. ambassadors or minister. Minister of Ningi. Netract yani ngiyani ukupinda sikanje kwele tiso mari yekubhadhara juti. Ubva utongotumira munhu mari zvakadaro. All right, pamwe ngani mari yawo. Yekumba kwavo. Right? So how will the law enforcement enforce that type? It is just that type. not withstanding stereotyping. Enough respect to everybody who is watching us live right now. Joyce Summers Ziri say. Right? So itapedza nayo yakanyorwa na George Charamba. Tapedza nayo. Right? Back again. Kuneye SADC. He's saying SADC should have opted for engagement. President's remarks were clear. Okay, we may say it was the journalist or the writer there who decided to take some certain extracts from his panelist and then just publish the article as a list, right? If we check out George Charamba and Nick Mangwana here on X.com, they are again pushing that same narrative. Obviously, that is the narrative those guys should be pushing because it is their party narrative, number one. Number two, it is their jobs to be doing their jobs. That is what they should be doing. Right? That is what those guys should be doing. Right? But we see them anyways. They'll be doing that on Twitter. Strategy, etc. Okay. All right. If you look at the frequency, my post chona, they post in a sequence, a cluttered sequence, right, with high frequency sequence of post on X.com. These guys will be posting .com, actually sharing links on social media. Right, especially on X.com concerning those cases. So on the issue SADC in Zambia, one going to hard time cannot not just stopping something before it happens. Remember, chunhu chikamiswa chisati chaitika chobva chazozokidza kuzomboitika. How do you know chaigona kuzoitika? Tikamisa chunhu chisati chaitika kuti chisaitike, toziya sei kuti dai chisinaomiswa chisati chaitika chaigona kuzoitika. I mean, is it clear? If we stop something before it happens, how do we know that something like that would have happened? If we avoid an accident, how do we know that an accident would have happened? What I'm saying is this: we do not avoid an accident when it has happened. We avoid it before it has happened. We avoid it nechunhu chakafanana nekusunga manati 1 pavhiri. Nut 1 pavhiri remotikari rinogona kunge chiita seem like a small issue than ball joint, right? I'm not suggesting that is what these guys are doing. I'm just trying to sound sophisticated. That is not what they are doing, or they're doing it in a strategy. It may be a deep strategy, but it is not. If it was Chris Mnangagwa has that rhetoric strategy. But no, these guys are just doing anything. They're just pushing, gisha. Of course, it can work. Does it work? One thing that works, when you see a statement being released, we want to honor those small little boys. No, what? We want to tokusasanga, tokuseta. All right. that when that statement that was issued by Jeftan Muswere, when we see now such statements being made, then we know kuti the little boys will bore, because zvinenge zvataurwa manje kunzi imi. Yes boss, yes boss, yes boss. So when the boss
we will not stop
that is
our
what happens.
development plans and programs because
Otherwise
of the noise
from
some
to
little
keep
boys.
anything. It doesn't work.
They will continue making that noise, but we shall continue to move on.
So they continue to making that noise, but they continue to move on. So it is Idi himself who then makes a speech, maybe on his own prerogative, or maybe he would have been advised by whoever would have advised him. That's where we see a little bit of punch there. That's when we will see that maybe the crowd that had graced the courts maybe might actually be reduced. That's when we may see Ostalos may actually limit some of his speeches. Kana ndapindana yakapindwa nasikala ndikapendwa nesame pendi same color. Because I'm still the president. Anyways, this speak or there at the court, it was a very good speak, a very bold speak. So Ostalos has been active from the days is actually university Ashtaura those days. He tried to use political articulation in his delivery of speak, trying to use sophisticated words that one doesn't easily grasp unless they pay deep attention, right? Some complicated words that politicians used. So that type of speak now is back into it. I'm not saying anything else. I'm just saying what I'm saying is it is. He is back in the speaking in his old school language.
We will not stop our development. We will not stop our development plans and programs because of the noise from some little boys. They will continue making that noise, but we shall continue.
But anyways, here what do we see? We see that those guys that were in solidarity with that timber guy and the 78 other guys who are not referred to by their names, those guys were actually there showing their solidarity, and we saw that movement actually becoming viral on social media, and we saw a lot of guys making speeches there, thereby bringing attention to the plight of Timba. So Timba was at his own house. Imagine, guys, this guy Timba, police yosikonopinda mbame munhu ari pamba pake zvake ane vanhu 70 pamba pake. Imagine. They just enter somebody's house and they arrest a person from his own house aine vanhu 70 ubva atora vanhu 78 vese 79, right? Pamba paningirikini pa Jameson Timba. The police arrived there nevanhu 79 vese vavo vari kuita private function yavo, kana inga iri wedding, kana inga iri celebration, whatever they were doing at that house. Take note, the police just arrived in there. So of course let the law, the legal process take its course, of course, right? Because here we're not having a procedural law course, right? But anyways, maybe one may actually get some information at low cost here at YouTube, because it is not what people tell you, but it is the idea that one may get. Do you know that you can get an idea, not an idea, but an idea to have an idea? You can have an idea to have an idea. Sometimes one just needs to be stimulated, especially as for me on my part. What I usually do, I just invoke thought. I just make people think. I don't tell people what to think. I give out everything that is possible according to me in my own mind. All right. However, I do in depth. So sometimes I seem like I'm going around stories, but it all comes back to one connection. But where is the link? What is the linking? Remember, here we are seeing that Wicknell Chivayo and Mnangagwa's children. What is this problem they had concerning the Starlink deal? Them being elbowed out, right? What is the scandal there? Is it something to take so seriously, or something that is light that happens, right? Obviously, me, I have a company which does this. My other friend has a company which does this. If I get the contract, if I didn't steal it from that guy, right? Of course, they shouldn't be jealous. I'm not referring to the ZEC deal where we see Mike Chimombe, anozo mkaka unozokura kubva kwauya madhara akakura, Wicknell Chivayo. So vasavhaiwa na Wicknell Chivayo takes over and overtakes the deal. Then we see Scott Sakwanya, the gold mafia, no fear. He puts in 200,000. More money. Let me just put in this kamari. So again, in that regard, we're seeing Wicknell Chivayo as the masterminder here, because Wicknell Chivayo actually, if it's him or not Mike Chimombe, he meditates the deal, right? He moves around in the deal. Then he brings in that team. Ototurana na chigumba, right? Kutobisa chigumba kumba, right? Otopinda chigumba pa airport mundege gumba kumba, right? Woskonopinda mu hotel. Imagine. Then when I rain form, they do my form chichi my offices this for reinforcement. They get their deals. Chichi was for my documents with tender process, etc. Right? Through all those things. Then we see Zimbabwe Electoral Commission issue with a statement. We never deal with the information. We never work with Wicknell Chivayo. Then two of my photos. It is my photos. I don't want to edit whatever. But anyways, they release a public statement in my lies, right? So achikumbandi judge kaonga somtonga ndo my judge achona. The word judge, what it means? The word judge means G. The word judge means G. Judge has authority to G, right? A judge actually comes from the power, from the grasp, from the grab. Judge is different from justice. A judge means kuchibata, kuchiji. Justice is where we put evidence here, there, and the evidence just presents itself and it's weighed, right? That's where we see a judge who decides cases in a court. Hence why nyaya Mike Chimombe iri ku magistrates court, at a lower court, ayisi ku high court. Kune judge. Take note, the judicial function or the jurisdictional function of the magistrate court. So there, they can only face certain facings depending on the National Prosecuting Authority. So far, we'll see the guys getting out, no doubt. I'm not advocating kuti vasungwe. What I may advocate for in the kuti hurumende ngaisarambe ichivharwa mari yedu zvakapusa kudai so, right? Kuita kunge zvinonzi mari yachina ikadzoka chose mari yaya tazodai so, mari yaya imwe mari inongopera neinflation one, pese pakapindwa mabondage notes, all those monies, right? So I'm not suggesting that asunge vanhu aite sei, unless paine case yekuti akanyatsovhara a Zimbabwean individual citizen directly who is at loss kuti tine load shedding, mari iyoyo yaifanira kunohodha magetsi. Yeah, we may say that, because do we have an office that actually do that responsibly, unless we have somebody who is coming with a tender yekuti angadada kuspenda but achida kutoita mari munomu kuti akumada kuvakira power plant, akumada kuvakira chakati, is going to be a $400 million facility, but we're going to build it the 400,000. Remember, you pay us bit by bit. Chakuisirai matogate padhori parliament, chakubatirai mari for the next 45 years. But after 45 years, system inenge sazinewawo that dzanga dziri 200 years, so you are still indebted to us, right? So do we have responsible people, or we just have responsible people who just make response at x.com saying xy, xyz, 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 bz? Why you want people to be z? X on the mouth. Why z? Big up to Joy Summers, Boniface, Chamanga. Jiri say, Hans na Boniface is Jonathan Moyo alive. Jonathan Moyo is alive. Him alive. I saw him making activity yesterday. If that was him on one of his social media platforms. Jonathan Moyo vanhu pavakaona kukenya zvinhu zvakadzanya zvikanzi pamwe Jonathan Moyo awana akamudzanya. Aiwa, Jonathan Moyo akangodzanywa munomu chete muna 2017. Right, so there's been rumors and speculation that Jonathan Moyo moyo wake wamira kurova, he had become unalive. I use the word unalive to avoid using the word that rhymes with the word dead. Mommy and dead, my dead. Okay, so I just do that. So I use the word unalive. So we saw that story is creative journalism. It's not even caricature. It's just misleading. So there are certain elements that are put in the press here where we are seeing this issue concerning Starlink. We are seeing Wicknell Chivayo, somebody who is not well versed in that industry, but somebody who is a mastermind, who can work on it. And I don't know if he can get it done. Of course, he can get the money because we are yet to see the Gwanda solar project, right? But if he was willing, he could just do it. Nyika yese inotokena business chunhu chinenge Starlink, chinhu chekuti mamwe businessmen anenge ari kuside huku angadai achitodhila nacho. But maZimbabwe ine mentality yekuti tikataura kudhila neStarlink ndingokuti Elon Musk is a billionaire. Saka panofanira kuenda rimwe billionaire. No. Elon Musk is a straight up person who just wears mask. Plus, I don't think Elon Musk at his level anorana company yake unge MC yamwa kuti unotofonera Elon Musk kuti mdala Musk ndachida ukaenda netenyu kuZimbabwe kuna kumdala so aiwa unogona kutofona ikoko totaura na intern ndianenge achidhila nekuisa internet kuZimbabwe kunoku mune muchituma your last number of people madhara type yevanhu vai vasingadainzwe unzi Mnangagwa no angachiti vaMnangagwa vanhingi anotaura ana bosi ningi nditaura ana bosi ndeve kumaraini we're speaking a big people yokuti of course ukazovadaidzawo nemafirst name unomudaidza nezita nesurname zvese naije uchanakira strive masiyiwa right ndo vanatichida kutumira but mumaofisi mune vanhu vanosafanange vasiri kuita mabasa iwayo but achiitwa nemaZimbabwean venturepreneurs, people who are willing to venture into new trades. It is a bad environment where we see a lot of industries seem to be reserved for the government, for government entities, or for people who are connected to the government. Actually, there are a lot of legal loopholes in Zimbabwe to be doing a lot of things. Dear government of Zimbabwe. Okay. So I'm actually shocked. These guys are walking away with those amounts. Man, how are you running the country? My only conclusion, some of these things, it can only be deliberate, or maybe there was no attention to these cases there. But anyways, we see, please come for me. How many millions? Almost 100 million. What did them do? Please come for me. Got acquitted. Zake atom for me. Guy, ma millions anafura gumi. Kutara zana. Zana rema kuranga kuda ushika na President Mugabe. Yeah. 100 million. 100 million. If we take $100 million, and it got, power 100 million. Imagine, 10,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 10,000. Lord, 1 million, thousand. Imagine a whole lot of money. And these guys, how do them spend the money? Of course, I see urumende. So some cases, guys, they are far-fetched. When do we see corruption in an African nation actually being brought to book, being brought to justice? Where do we see that happening? Have we ever seen that happen in Africa or in Zimbabwe, for that matter? Have we ever seen? What we should be doing? We should just be aware and alert and have out-of-the-box solutions that have never been seen anywhere before. Unexpected solutions. I'm not talking of boycotting. No, I'm not talking of boycotting anything, because there's nothing to boycott. How do you boycott rainfall? You cannot boycott a rainfall. But actually, you can actually approach this case from rainfall's end. Remember, Holy Ghost, different laws apply when a company in another nation is operating in another nation, right? Of course, when you're a Zimbabwean who goes to South Africa, right? Zimbabwean laws apply. They do apply. But you don't pay tax in South Africa. When you're a foreigner, you don't need tax there. You don't pay tax there. Okay. Whatever money you pay tax, you'll be returned your money. You can think in South Africa, whatever you buy, you have a sweet. Tax because you are a foreigner. Right? Tax. Now, I mean, does it apply to these guys who tax clearance, etc. Uh, money they earn from where? From the government. Yeah, tax. You want to tax, okay. All right. So, very good investigations on behalf of these guys. They actually did a lot of an investigation. We are talking of a company that is part of the office of the president that uses over $100 million for what through whatever period, be it annually or whatever period it is. Right? They do investigations through investigating a social media post. Excellent investigation. So they investigate through leaked media posts, people making them post, etc. Of course, everything and things should be scrutinized. Okay, but some of the things on social media might actually be forged or not. So here on this case, the cases that were denied and those that were acknowledged, we all know that the simple fact that the involved parties made the mentions, there's a link already. So should need come in the future, however, everybody is connected. I'm not suggesting that I'll be doing follow-ups on these guys. No. Follow-up. Yeah. No. Hey, how far? Guys. Right? So, of course, we pray for this nation. God is in it. Right? We should keep praying for this nation. But I'm not suggesting that I'm a person who is capable of doing such things like that. But what we can do is just take note of those things and speak them out, release them into the spirit. Anyways, that was it for right about now. So today, the Sunday mail. uh, yeah. This is the Sunday mail in a black nation. Okay. I'm not suggesting that the one in US operates any better. No. They don't operate any better. General Michael Langley, who is the commander to AFRICOM, the one that is operating there in Botswana, in Zambia, is the first black 4-star general in the United States of America. Imagine the first black 4-star general in the United States of America is still alive. Means it is just recent. I'm not suggesting that those guys are racist or what. No, they run their own races. They put their own national interests first. Right? Of course, some Zimbabweans would want to be happy slaves. I'm not suggesting that Americans make people slaves or they do not make people slaves. It's their nation, it's their own resources. They do what they want with their own resources. Right? Of course, we have in the cases of disputed elections, etc. Mnangagwa is doing what Mnangagwa should be doing, but I don't think these tenders are part of what he should be doing. Of course, issue statements on the little boys playing you like some little toys, etc. But we are seeing now some medium boys entering the the Zimbabwe vote and meddling with our funds like they are playing with some toys, playing with gold bricks like our little boys playing with brick cars in the ghetto. Dira checha mu Reserve Bank. Okay, mali ninge singatogara ku Reserve Bank futhi ninge chigara tori mu homwe, right? Gaya youth minister anenge chifamba kana 1 billion mu homwe. Imagine. Okay, so this is an analogy there. All right. Anyways, this entire video is a hypothesis. I'm just mentioning it. I don't need to mention it to anybody. I don't think anybody who can see that it's a hypothesis should be able to question me. Enough respect to everybody. I'm saying that because of a comment that had been written by anybody, by somebody else here. You know, guys, we make these live videos. We meet a different type of people. Oh, Chiremba, don't say what you're saying. Musatore mafungiro yenyu. Ah. Musatore mafungiro yangu. Udomisa unyora mabuku. Udomisa a certain thought pattern isati yapo panyika panapa. Right? Mune ane mafungiro ake. Right? But kune mafungiro ushu. Nia ushu. Angu, maybe will make a difference to another person. That all that matters. Anyways, with that, I'm gonna sign out of here. Dr. Clarence is the name. TV7 Live is the channel. Bear with me, guys, as I get back in the groove to making my live videos. I haven't been making my videos for a very long time. This channel had been stolen. This channel had been stolen, right? But through the grace of God, we managed to recover the channel back, right? So I'm not gonna give a testimony because people do not like to hear about testimonies or what, right? I'm not suggesting anything, right? Everything we do, everything that happens, it is God that does it. But sometimes there are different moves and different things and things. It has been a hectic last half year. Not hectic on my part, but hectic on the part of me, the compassionate part of me, the empathetical side of me. Oh, this is what happens. People like this do exist. Oh, because we know for the funga ngewewe. But also theory. Iwe. Mwe munu indoto rambira vanhu kuti aiwa hakuna munhu akadai so nditomuona kuti uyu munhu akadai so, right? Like we are seeing here, we have our own ministers, machichi, munhu anenge ari leader when in entire part of a government thing, munhu anenge ane more powerful member of parliament, munhu anenge ari kana permanent secretary, job description yake ndiye kuti asei, ndiye kuenda kunonyera macaption pa mainstream media, formerly called social media. All right, I'm going to sign out. That was more than an hour of power. Wanga wanshi down Tanganyika, manje the house Tanganyika. Iko shinundu wa Tanganyika. Ansika. Chico chamisa mtara uyu. Chico chamisa mtara uyu. Vanu vanga vakutofunza. Nekuti nguva yanga yareba ndisina kutobudisa manamba. Chico chamisa mtara uyu. Chico chamisa mtara uyu. Vanga vakutofunza kama fanzi. Nekuti nguva yanga yareba ndisina kubudisa zvimanamba. Vanga vakutoshamba zvikanzi imi chiremba matichamba. Hati sisina ukangu maze kutamba. Ndikati pale masaganga shimondisoma zvima informa. Chinoda kutoti ininika, ndisave ininika. Nditova chimechinuka, nditorika na 6 feet under. 6 feet under iri. Manje isu atipeta kafa.